Alright, today I'm going to be doing a remote start keyless entry into a 2002 Honda Civic SI. This is the EP3 version, and a couple differences between the normal, non-SI versions, but the wiring generally is about the same. For this I'm going to be using a 4806 Viper system, as well as a DBALL2, the bypass module from Director Electronics, same company who makes Viper. In this, I'm going to be doing a manual transmission. If you're going to be doing this on this car, I'm pretty sure all the SIs are manual in this year's. You're going to want to get something that's manual transmission capable, and I'll show you how we do the wiring and stuff for that aspect of it, while we're doing the installation. But make sure that it's a one that has manual remote start capabilities, because otherwise you could cause all kinds of issues with cars running through fields and into cars, children, billy goats, whatever, so make sure that first if you're going to be doing this in this car. For this I'm using the 4806V. It's remote start capable, or manual remote start capable, so that's why I'm going with this one. I'll go over the various wiring connections that I make as well, and a couple tips along the way, hopefully. Alright, so the first thing that I did is I went ahead and consolidated these three red heavy gauge cables coming off of the Viper. These are all going to be powering the internal relays that in turn switch on the various things in the ignition switch. So since this vehicle only has one 12 volt at the ignition switch, I combined all these two, so I just tied them all together, soldered them, taped them up, we're good there. So that's the first thing that I do always. I try to get my power situation ready to go, and then Alright, so I'm going to basically just be moving harness to harness on this, starting with the Viper 4806. So first I start with the heavy gauge wiring here. I combine the three red wires here that are going to ultimately go to 12 volts to one wire, because there's only one 12 volt at the ignition switch on this vehicle. So I did that. Cut off the pink black, which is not going to be used in this application, and these other ones are going to be connected to the vehicle. So I'm done with that harness. Now I'm going to move on to the next one. Alright, and on the next 6-pin harness, the wires that will be used are going to be the red, the brown, and the black, and the white. Those are power, ground, horn honk, and parking lights. These other two, clip, short, take off, you're not going to be using them. So right now I'm also going to go ahead and tie this red one back over here to these other red ones, which are going to go to 12 volts. So, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to show it, but I will be doing that. And then I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next harness, show you what goes where. Okay, so moving on, right after the 6-pin, we've got the 2-pin plug there, which is actually just a toggle switch to disable it. So you'll want to plug that in, so it's not going to work if you don't have that plugged in the on position. The next one here is the lock harness, which we're going to be using both of those. So I plugged it in, leaving them hanging. I'll show you what we connect those to in a little bit. We're actually going to connect those to the DBALL bypass module in this vehicle. We can do them manually, but with a DBALL will do it for me. I figure why not. The next one is this big plug here, various different wires in there. Instead of going through every single wire telling you which ones I didn't use, I'm just going to go with the ones that we are using. We're going to start here with the black white, and it's going to go to our parking brake because it's a manual transmission. We have green black, which I believe is factory alarm disarm, which we may not even use. I can't recall if this car has a factory alarm. I'll have to check. I know it has factory immobilizer, but I'm not sure if it has factory alarm, that goes off when the doors are open, that kind of thing. The next one is going to be our green wire here, which is our negative door trigger switch, and that's going to be in conjunction with the manual transmission aspect of this install, so we will be using that. Other one here is going to be our brown wire here, solid brown. That's going to be our brake shutdown, so when you remote start, turn the key, press the brake, shuts down the remote start, then your key takes over. Other one here is factory alarm arm. This is the green with white. Once again, not 100% sure we'll be using this. I don't think we actually will. I think the DBALL takes care of that arming and disarming for us. So we probably won't be using that one or the green-black one, but I got in there just in case. Solid blue is going to be negative output to activate the DBALL during remote start. So we will be using that. We've got violet white here and the gray here. The violet white is our tap wire, which is a required connection for a manual transmission remote start install. So we're going to be hooking this up. And the other one, the gray one here, is going to be our hood pin shutdown switch. That's going to be a switch that shuts down the remote start if the hood is open while it's activated, or it also won't start with the remote start while it's activated. It's a safety thing, so you know, if you're getting the car worked on, they accidentally hit it in their pocket, it's not gonna, you know, take somebody's arm off. So, yep, that's that's all the plugs here. I cut off what I didn't need. Anything else, any wire that I didn't mention, I clipped off. Only other thing left here is the antenna, but I'm gonna wait to hook that up until the end. So now I'm gonna move on to the DBALL2 wiring, and then what needs to come from there to the remote start. Alright, so from the DBALL2, starting with the blue harness here, the two of the wires we're going to be using are the red and the black. So the red one is going to be going to constant 12 volts, black one is going to be going to ground. So I tied the red one in here with these red wires here, the black one down here with the black main ground wire here. So those two are there. What we also have after this is the orange white, red yellow, yellow red, and yellow wires. Those are going to be alarm interrupt and security light. So that takes care of the wires on that harness. Now we're moving on to wires. Alright, and the next red plug there, we only need two wires here. We're going to be using the orange black and the yellow black. And one's going to be for the data for the door locks, the other one's going to be for immobilizer data. So one's going to be that does our locks, one's going to be for just basically disabling the factory immobilizer system, and we're going to be able to remote start it, essentially. Alright, so for the final harness, it's going to be the black harness here. Only wires I used out of it were the solid green, solid blue, and the blue white. And these are going to be these blue and green, the solid ones. Those are going to be to the lock wires. So those are going to go over here to the 2-pin harness, matching up color for color. One's lock, one's unlock. So that's pretty simple. The blue white is the activation wire. That's going to go from the solid blue on this larger harness here on the Viper. It's going to go to the, solder it over here to the blue white. So solid blue to blue white. And now we've got all our connections made. Looks like a mess, but I'm going to go ahead and clean it up, get it ready to go in the vehicle. Cleanup is kind of, I guess, up to you. I mean, I like it to still look good. I'm definitely not going to just start firing stuff into the car like this. I'll show you what it looks like after I clean this up and get it prepped, ready to go into the vehicle. But right now, the connections from there to there are made, so that's the main thing I want to get across right now. Alright, so here's essentially what I've left. Kind of went ahead, zip tied the harnesses together, stuff's running with one another, it all kind of bundles up to here. So essentially here's the ignition wires, and we've got these other wires here that are going to be going to various parts of the car, so I'm kind of leaving those loose at the moment so I can route them around the car. But obviously once we get it all installed, we're going to route things, try to make it factory look. The DBALL here, same thing, connections are there. These are the wires going to the DBALL, so I have this separate from here because these ones generally connect on slightly different parts of the car. Not always, but a lot of these ones that are bundled together are going to go to the same place, so I'm keeping them bundled together. Same thing over here. So at this point, I'm ready to go ahead and put it in the vehicle. But this vehicle right now has an installed security system in it, which I'm going to be removing before I install this, so I got to go ahead and remove that first. And may or may not show that part. It's kind of going to see. Alright, so it's looking like I'm just kind of getting an idea of what all I need to take apart. So it's looking like I'll probably want to take out this cubby hole here pocket. 2 screws there, right up under there to take that out, and then it probably clips. This part looks like it just twists off. Yep, so that part came off easy, and you can see a little bit of the current security system that's in there. The shroud's gonna have to come off as well. There's like a bunch of Phillips screws around there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started, take the stuff off. I'm gonna start, well, that part I already took off right there. I'm gonna undo this guy here. Alright, so I removed this guy here. There was just the 2 screws and it popped out. The shroud here, there was 3 screws, one there, and one here. The top 2 ones are the same. The other one here is a machine one, so make sure you don't get that messed up. And then there's obviously clips around the edges, popped off fairly easily since this car had already been molested before. So there's that. And then I'm just kind of looking at the remote, or not remote, sorry, the alarm that's in here right now. It's like I already found it, so it'll be an easy one to remove. Just gonna have to trace down the wires, unplug them, unclip them, etc. But that's not really for this video, this is just for the remote start video here. Alright, so at this point I've got the alarm system removed, that is out of the way. A little bit of cleanup left to do for that, but since the wires are going to be connected to anyways, I'm going to just do that as I go. So first thing I do once I have it all apart in general is find where I'm going to put the main control unit, the Viper. So I looked up by where the clutch pedal connectors are, up there in that corner. There's nothing up there, so let's see a good place for it. It's up out of the way. That way if I ever got to do anything under the dash, it's not going to be in the way. So first thing I did is I kind of flopped it up there. It's not secured yet. It's just kind of sitting there at the moment because obviously I'm going to have to run all these wires various places. So got that hooked up there. I'm going to start first with the ignition wires. So I got my ignition harness routing up there. It's routing over here. So I'm going to leave enough slack so that I can kind of route the factory way. That way all the shrouds and everything like that go back in without any issues. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my connections right here. Alright, so the first connection I went ahead and started with was the red wire here, the constant 12 volts going to the white wire here in the brown ignition switch plug. I'll show you that it's 12 volts. I got my black lead there, or red lead there. Black lead here on ground, and 12 volts off, 12 volts. Okay, so that is our 12 volt wire. And these were already tapped before, so I mean I really don't have to test them. I know which ones are which, and these are pretty standard Honda colors for the year, but you'll want to test them either way at home. You never know what happens. They could have gotten a factory or an aftermarket pigtail here to replace something messed up here. You never know, especially with an older car. So, you know, just to be safe, test all your wires always. Alright, and the next connection that I went with was the pink wire, which is the ignition wire. And for that, I went to the black with the yellow stripe. And then here I'll show you how I tested it. I've got my multimeter set up. Key on position. Alright, so 12 volts, 11.9, whatever. I got my doors open and whatnot. Turn the key to like cranking over. The voltage stays the same. So we've got 12 volts with the key on and during cranking, so that is our ignition wire. Moving on. Alright, the next wire is going to be the accessory wire. Accessory one, there's two accessory wires in this vehicle. There's going to be the orange one here. It's going to go to the black red there. And just to show you how it tests, nothing with the key off. The key on, you get 12 volts. With the car cranking, cuts out. So that's an accessory one. There's another one we'll get to hook up here too. Alright, next wire I did was the pink white, and on the Vipers this is actually programmable. This is one that can be either second starter, second ignition, or second accessory as well. I mean, it might have other ones, but I know that's those ones for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and, by default I believe it's programmed to ignition, so I'm going to program it after I get it all installed to second accessory. So there's that spiel. The wire that connected to was the white-red here, and it's going to test just like the regular accessory wire. Nothing with the key off, key on, 12 volts, cranking, nothing. Alright, and the final wire left in the harness is this black-white wire. That's going to be the starter wire, which the reason it's cut here is because with the Avatar that it was in here previously, this wire was cut and interrupted for the alarm system, or for the, you know, to kind of immobilize the car from moving to the alarms going off. So obviously those don't quite reach each other right now, so I'm going to solder an extension here and here, and then connect the purple wire there. I'll show you how the wire tests afterwards once I get it all back connected so you see. But yeah. Alright, so the final wire connected was the purple wire to the black-white. Had to obviously reconnected and everything, but I've got it testing right now. So the key to the on position, obviously you get nothing, it's a starter wire, but when your vehicle is cranking over, 12 volts. So that's how you know you got your correct starter wire. So I'm done with that ignition switch wire for right now. I don't believe I have to do anything else there, but there are a couple other wires in this area I may be using, like parking lights and such. I'll take a look and see, but for now I'm done with this harness, so I taped it up, you know, cleaned it up and everything there, and then I'm going to do the same with these wires here. Alright, and the next wire that I'm working with right now is the horn wire. Reason being, it's right up here in this area, so I'm trying to do it section by section. So yeah, I got the wire probed. It's an orange wire. It's going to be in this bundle here, and it's going to be a negative trigger. So test with your black lead there, red one up, and 12 volts. Alright, so I'm going to do this real quick. You might not be able to see the full 12 volts because I don't want to have the horn blaring. It's going to be real quick, but watch. There you go. It's a little, the multimeter is a little delayed, but that was definitely the horn. So that is it. This thicker brown wire is going to be the horn wire, so I'm going to connect that one to there. You can either have this for confirmation when you lock the car, lock, unlock, that kind of thing. I usually have that off because I don't like my horn blaring when I'm just trying to lock the car. So I'm just going to hook it up for programming purposes in case I ever wanted to manually program features and things like that. I have a bit writer that's used to program these, so I probably won't be using it much, but if needed, I like to have the horn hooked up for that reason. Alright, so the next wire I'm working with is going to be the white-black wire for the brake switch, and that's on the vehicle. So it's a white-black right at the brake switch top corner there. And I'm going to go ahead here in just a second and press the brake. I got my multimeter set on there, so I'm going to press the brake. 12 volts, so there we go. So I got that. For that, it's going to be our thinner brown wire. And that's going to connect to that white with a black stripe right up there.